ಕರದಲ ತಗಿಲಿನ tamburi ಸ್ವರ ಬರದೆ ಬಾರಿಸದಿರು tamburi. Your body itself is a tambura. Getting back to the shruti is the concept of music therapy. Bring back to your natural shruti.
Your natural Shruti.
But Sona,
Persona.
each of us is one sound.
Oh, beautiful. Wow, nice.
Nada and yoga.
Nada and yoga. See, Nada yoga. Music is the only magic left, so. Welcome everyone to today's episode. So first of all, a very, very happy World Music Day and happy International Yoga Day. So June 21st is a very celebrated day across the whole globe for both these divine elements in life, music and yoga. So welcome today to everyone to this special episode. I have with me two very special people, very special to me also, right? So here is a couple who have been rendering very noble human service to the field of music and healing. And they are also founders of this foundation called Svarakshema Foundation, through which they strive to serve people through music. And it's not just only for people who are going through ailments, but it is also for the caregivers also. So lots of research done by this special couple. I would also like to mention that one of them, has been my classmate also during my master's degree while I was doing my MA music, right? So without further ado, I'd like to invite both my dear friends and the beautiful couple, Sanak Kumar Athreya and Sowmya Sanak. So Sowmya and Sanak, welcome to both of you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for agreeing to come and be part of this. Really, really grateful to you for agreeing to be part of this. Right. So I would actually, for the viewers, I'd like to read a brief about both of you. Right. So let me please read your introduction. Right. So the couple Sowmya Sanak and Sanak Kumar Athreya have been working as music therapists with over 13 years of active service in the field, researching to identify effective and authentic methods of music-based healthcare. They are also striving to bring about awareness on infinite possibilities of music other than entertainment through talks and presentations on diverse and little explored facets of music. They are the founders and directors of Svarakshema Foundation. A little brief introduction about Sowmya. Sowmya Sanak Kumar Athreya began her career as a clinical research associate at Clinigene Biocon, conducting and monitoring several drug trials in specialties like oncology, nephrology, cardiology, and endocrinology. She was deeply affected by pain and suffering caused not only by the disease but by the treatment too. In her search for methods to lessen this burden, she arrived at music therapy. Her strong fundamentals in Carnatic music, combined with the clinical and scientific rigor of research, led her to develop many techniques of Indian music therapy that help as complementary and non-invasive therapy for several health conditions. She is a PhD in music therapy as alternative medicine and a postgraduate in both MA in music, MA Carnatic music, and microbiology MSc as well. So I'm happy that I know Sowmya ji for 15 years now. That's suddenly it made me feel old. So yeah, 15 years. We met as classmates in 2010, and a beautiful journey of 15 years, right? And personally, having seen the extraordinary work that you've done, both of you as a couple for this field, the sort of respect that the whole music, at least I have observed the Bangalore music fraternity has for you. The big Vidwans out there, the regard that they have for the both of you as a couple, it's immense, and really proud to know you. Yes, yeah. Quick intro about Sanak Kumar Athreya. Sanak Kumar Athreya is a multi-instrumentalist trained in Carnatic classical percussion, music theory, and yoga. He identified the confluence of these streams of knowledge in music therapy. He has devised many methods of rhythmic Indian music therapy to support the treatment of various health conditions. He initially worked as a software engineer in companies like Accenture and HP before passion steered him into music therapy. He also had a successful parallel career as a freelance journalist, having published over 1,000 articles on various topics, including music, in numerous dailies and journals, especially of the Times Group. He is currently pursuing his PhD in Nada Yoga after a post-graduation in yoga and MSc in yoga. So, who better for us to speak about music and yoga on this special day? We're celebrating both music and yoga. So, thank you so much.
Nada and yoga.
Nada and yoga. See, Nada yoga. Right. Thank you once again so much for agreeing, Sowmya and Sanak. So, really, really means a lot. Like I mentioned to you earlier, Kalaartham Global is a platform which primarily wants to make India proud, so we have so much with us. We have so much. I mean, you both are experts in the field of research as such. I mean, irrespective of music and healing, maybe you both are researchers, and you know how much. I mean, treasure also might be a very small word when we refer to India, right? So I think treasure is a very small word. So we are like a cosmos of knowledge. And I think it's upon us, it's a responsibility that we have to actually promote this and make it accessible to the next generations. So you both are doing a fantastic job, and my pranams to both of you for that service that you're rendering. So, all right, so awesome. So thank you so much once again. Right? Any quick thoughts?
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be on this platform with you, Rahul. Like you said, more than just this 15 years of knowing each other, I think we have interacted on a musical front very richly, and there's so much of exchange that we have had with you that we feel really honored to be featured on Kalaartham Global. And best wishes to you and your venture in Kalaartham Global in bringing forth the importance of and the value of Indian knowledge systems. Yes. So whatever we can do to pitch in for this and join hands with you, we are ready.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That's very sweet. It's very sweet. Yeah. All right. So yes, so let's get started then, right? I'm sure because I mean on the poster people would have seen a special interview on music and yoga. So people would be really curious to know what exactly this is about, right? So I would want to start off with your own journey. How did you get into this field? How did it all start, right? So if you could take us through that journey as to how you got into this field.
Yeah, through another meaning of yoga. Olle yoga.
Okay. That's nice.
It was our Suyoga that we got into the field.
Very nice. Okay. Very nice.
So initially it all started with our early days of after we got married. The early days, she used to go on a lot of these clinical trials and all those things, and we used to discuss a lot about possibilities in non-invasive therapies, because modern medicine is doing a lot of fantastic work, but pain is something that has troubled patients and a lot of people, and we actually don't have very good remedial measures even today.
Okay.
One is we are not understanding pain.
Okay.
Secondly, you may be surprised to know that we probably don't have any physical measures to estimate the pain that somebody is undergoing.
I've heard of
it is very subjective.
Doles or something, or
we have scales. We have scales, and those scales have to be very subjectively rendered.
Absolutely.
So it's always a relative thing when we try to understand. Because pain also has components of, pain perception of the patient. The pain tolerance level of each individual is different.
True.
So a lot of these variables come into play. So it is very difficult to physiologically measure pain.
Absolutely.
For another person to understand what pain a patient is undergoing.
Correct.
It's not a quantitative thing many times.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, you start to understand what pain is first, in order to understand how you can relieve pain. So it's very interesting that you come across this combination of, components of physical pain, psychological pain, spiritual pain, social pain. There are all these aspects.
Okay.
And what is better than music, which can be a friend to one and all, to help alleviate multiple of these aspects of pain.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So interestingly, in our culture, though even in English, pain, we don't have many synonyms for pain.
Okay. Okay.
And we use the same word.
Discomfort, maybe discomfort or uneasiness. Yeah. Very.
Uneasiness, but they do not.
Doesn't define pain.
It doesn't define.
That doesn't
Absolutely.
communicate pain.
Exactly. Exactly.
Similarly, in Sanskritam, we call dukkham.
Oh, okay. Okay. That would be sadness, right?
Yes, it starts from pain and ranges all the way to spiritual pain.
Okay. Okay. How would you define, if you can maybe speak a little bit of spiritual pain?
Okay. So, physical pain is a sensation of discomfort that we experience.
Specific
right?
to the body?
Specific to the body. Right? In reality, we are still not able to define pain right at the physical level.
Okay. Okay.
We are only expressing it as a nervous signal
Yeah, processed by the brain.
that expresses discomfort.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We do not have a further definition for pain. Right?
Okay.
Next, we have psychological pain,
Correct.
which again is a sort of a discomfort that is expressed or manifests in physiological ways.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. You mean like a
It starts with the mind.
Examples maybe? So psychosomatic problems?
Psychosomatic problems.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
So then we also have social pain, which very few people talk about.
Okay. Okay.
That is
Pain that somebody feels because of being excluded, or the kind of stigmas that people face because of societal norms, because of just the way society is, and you're expected to be.
Okay. Okay. No, this is besides losing somebody in your circles, in your social circles, that also?
No, this has nothing to do with losing somebody. That is a different
Psychological
thing.
pain.
That again manifests in all of these actually.
Okay.
that is grief.
That is grief.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That is grief. We are talking about, for example, if there is a patient, okay, let's say they have a diagnosis of cancer.
Okay. Okay.
How will the family or their friends or the society accept them?
Okay.
Or, we keep them away. We do see these kind of things in our daily life.
Okay. Okay.
That kind of pain that they experience by not being able to lead a normal social life.
All right. All right.
That constitutes social pain.
All right. All right. Okay.
And beyond this, we have spiritual pain, which is marked with the discomfort in the questions, why me?
Why me? Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Why has it happened to me? Right?
Okay.
So there are these profound questions which trigger deep unrest in the mind. Okay?
Yeah.
Which are expressed as pain.
Okay. Okay.
Which actually reverse percolate into physical pain.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
So, when we, among all the concepts that we talk about in pain,
Okay.
there are two concepts that totally stand apart. One is, because we deal with cancer patients, cancer pain itself is a topic in itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All pains on one side, cancer pain is a topic in itself.
Okay. Okay.
And then we have this concept of total pain.
Okay.
Total pain is the net sum of physical, psychological, social, and spiritual pain.
Wow. Okay. Okay. How do you even express that? How do you express or measure whatever it is? How does somebody talk about it?
Yeah, so this is where the Western approach and the Oriental, not only Indian, Oriental approach.
Okay.
In fact, I will be audacious enough to say that the whole of East is in some way influenced by Indian thought.
Whole of the East, okay. The whole of the East, okay. You're including
Eastern civilizations.
Eastern civilizations, Eastern thought processes.
Okay, okay,
Or in some way influenced by Indian thought.
okay, okay.
Okay. And the Indian thought, sees things in an integrative way.
Correct.
Okay. But the Western thought process is a reductionist approach.
Correct. Correct.
So they prefer to break down things,
Yeah.
okay, and then view it.
Correct.
We also break down things, but we always integrate it.
Got it.
After breaking it down, for our understanding, we then integrate it to give it as a either a teaching or a medicine or anything. We then reintegrate it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So in Western thought, recently when they came up with this concept of total pain, that is what they have attempted. They have divided pain as physical, psychological, social, and spiritual.
Okay.
Right? Now they have tried to integrate all of these into one scale, and the net score can be recorded as total pain.
Total pain.
Oh, okay. Okay. So is it like a Likert scale on a scale of 0 to 10? How would you rate your pain? Is it like
Yes, you do have scales.
those kind of
Okay.
scales.
Okay. Nice to know.
And you can estimate total pain based on that.
Okay. Have you measured anybody's total pain in your journey?
Yes, we have been doing that as a part of our research work with cancer patients.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So, what happens? Okay, back to our story. That we were discussing a lot about pain among patients, and whether we have non-invasive solutions, some sort of a remedial within our Indian culture.
Okay.
Also, in conditions as serious as cancer or maybe dialysis, patients on dialysis, these kind of situations where I was working intensively, it is not possible to do away with your allopathic approach. It is very necessary that they undergo the chemotherapy prescribed. It is very necessary that they undergo the dialysis process in order to keep them going.
Got it.
So what can we do to add to the process? It should be something that is able to give them some amount of relief. At the same time, it should not interfere with the mainstream the treatment that's going on.
Correct. Makes sense.
So I guess we always had music with us.
And when was that
yes.
first moment, maybe for both of you, maybe it might have happened individually or together, that music or Nada yoga or music therapy is actually coming in as a treatment option, and it is actually creating a difference? When was that moment? I mean, when did you realize?
So we attended classes with Guruji Raghavan.
Okay.
He's also popular as Delhi Raghavan and Tirupugad Raghavan and all.
Okay.
So we used to attend classes with him, and when we had gone to meet him in Chennai, he was the one who built the cat, or what do you say? He set the ball rolling.
Okay.
So he gave it almost like an instruction, that
Like an upadesham.
Got it. Okay.
He asked us directly, why should you sing? He asked her, why should you sing?
Why should you sing? Okay.
Why should you sing? So that was
Okay. What was your
That was
answer?
actually-
if I can ask, what was your answer?
no.
These are not 1 mark answers, Rahul.
No, what was your answer? Do you remember how
No,
you responded?
the idea of that question itself was to trigger, the thought
What's the bigger purpose?
towards a bigger purpose. Exactly.
Nice.
So he actually, he was sitting on the chair and we were sitting down, and he just like that asked, "Nee ella edukku paadanum?"
Okay.
You understand the condescending tone in that.
Okay.
Why should you even sing? What's the purpose of you singing?
Okay.
And he himself gave those options. Kacheri pananuma, nalu per kai tattanuma. You want to earn money through music?
Okay.
You want to have thousands of students? What is it? You have to think. You're saying you're singing. You're saying you're giving programs. What is it? Why do you have to do this?
Very nice. Okay. Very deep question, by the way. Yeah. I can see the intention of the question. Yeah. Very nice.
So, that actually started rolling things and...
Here.
Yes.
Very nice. Okay.
And then when we got back to him and told him that Guruji, we are planning to start working on music therapy.
Okay.
He smiled and he said, "Very good."
Very nice. Very nice. Maybe he knew you would come back with that decision.
Okay, that's great. Because most of the questions he asked then, we still don't have answers.
We're still figuring out answers to them.
And many of the questions, as recent as few months ago, we realized, oh, that's what Guruji meant at that time. 15 years ago.
Awesome. Okay.
So, yeah. So basically, he said a few things which sat very deeply in us, and which we also found in our research.
Okay.
Right, to be true. So one thing he said is, how can music work? So first of all, your body is intelligent. You have to accept that your body is intelligent.
Don't make the mistake of undermining the intelligence of your body.
The body. Yeah. Absolutely.
But what we are doing is, we are thinking too much.
Okay.
So by calming the mind, we will allow the body to work on its own.
On its own. Lovely. Okay.
If we think and we start instructing, the mind is interfering with the way the body is using its intelligence.
Correct. Okay.
So,
okay.
When you sing, or when a person is listening with his, with his thoughts subdued, okay, then that leads to a natural process of therapy.
Beautiful. Okay.
The body takes over and says, okay, now that the mind is calm, let me do some repair work here.
Super. Nice. I like the way you put it. Okay. Very nice.
So that's one upadeshan that he gave, that I also later when I was studying yogic texts,
Okay.
Hatha Pradipika gives a very beautiful analogy.
Okay.
Hatha Pradipika says, Mano Matha Gajendrasya Vishyodhyanacharinaha Samartoyam Niyamane Ninada Nishitankushaha.
Okay.
Which means our mind wanders around like a mad elephant. Okay. In a garden.
Okay.
Of thoughts.
Okay.
Now what happens is nada, with the goad of nada, the sort of a stick with the
Mahut
ankusha.
controls the
The Mahut controls the elephant. Similarly, we can control our mind with the ankusham of nada.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Very nice.
Right? So once the elephant is controlled, the garden is saved.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That is when you start seeing beauty. That is when you start actually seeing a lot of things. Right? That is when the journey actually begins.
Nice.
Right now, we are behaving like a mad elephant.
Got it. Yeah. Very nice.
So, we got many such references to corroborate what Guruji's upadeshans were.
Okay.
And then we started looking into scriptural evidences for how music can be used. So we found evidences in yoga. As I said, Hatha Yoga Pradipika. The Chaturopadesha has a Samadhi Marga, which starts with Nadhanusandhana actually. So some technically differ with the definition of Nada there and the Nada of our Sangeeta. But still, it is fairly acceptable as a very similar concept.
Okay, if we had to explain that to a layman, how would you maybe explain Nada in most simplistic terms? Is it just sound frequency or is it just sound? What is it, Nada? What is Nada?
No, Tyagaraja Swami has given it easily for us, no? Pranagala Samyoga is Nada.
Is Nada.
In Mokshamugala song, he says. That's the same definition for Nada.
Prana, Anala, Samyoga, your vital breath, and Anala is the fire in your belly.
Anala,
Samyogamo. Okay. Beautiful.
Okay.
I think that helps, yeah.
Yeah, so that is Nada.
Okay.
A very similar concept of Nada is explained, but there the swaras. Here we talk about the Sapta swaras. Okay, there in this one we talk about the in yoga we talk about the Shushumna Nadi and the piercing of the prana in the Shushumna Nadi.
Okay, so where does Om
that generates
come into all of this? Where does Pranava or Om come into all of this?
It does not come into all of this. All of this comes out of Om.
That's lovely. Okay. That's very nice.
Okay.
That's very nice.
Om is the primordial sound from which everything else has been manifested.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I'd also like to, tell something interesting. See, in fact, as I was saying, even the Orientals are influenced by Indian thought. Even Greeks have a lot of influence from India.
Okay. Some examples maybe in some aspects.
This concept.
So when you talk about somebody, we use this word person, right? This person, that person.
Okay.
So the origin of that word person is very interesting.
Okay.
It is there in our Indian scriptures also, where you talk about, a being to be a combination of an entity of light and sound.
Okay. Sound is sound, you're saying.
So when you say person, each person is, sun refers to sona. Sona, sonic, ultrasonic, infrasonic. You have heard this word, right?
Yeah, correct.
But sona. Each of us is one sound.
Oh, beautiful. Wow, nice. Yeah, one sound each.
Each of us is one sound.
Lovely, yeah.
We are, individual entities of sound ourselves.
That's a beautiful insight.
So,
when
I'm saying that you're a person, you're one sound.
You're one sound. Oh, that's a lovely insight. Yeah? That's a lovely insight. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. So here, there's so much happening. Right from because both of us here are connected to spirituality and music at the same time, right? So music therapy has so many connotations right now. I'm sure in your entire journey you would have heard hundreds of methodologies of music therapy itself, right? So there are some people out there who just do with Omkara chanting. Some people use Tibetan bowls, maybe. Some people use Shankas in their healing, right? So where do you think? I wouldn't be asking which is good, which is bad. Of course, there's no good or bad. It's just what works, right? So what has your experience been? Why did you choose Indian music therapy? Why Indian music, Shastriya Sangeetam? Why? There's so many, because there is Western classical music therapy as well, right? So Hindustani, Carnatic, or Western or Arabic. I in fact I have heard some Arabic songs, authentic Arabic songs, which actually put me to sleep. It was so therapeutic for me that I actually went to sleep. Right, so it was so soothing, right? So that soothing element is there in nada. So that actually I wanted to ask a question: how do you differentiate nada from shabda? Right, so prananala samyogamu will be just nada, or it can be also shabda. So how do you differentiate that in music therapy? I think if you could connect that to why Indian music, why Karnataka Shastri Sangeetam. So if you could throw some light on that.
Before we get on to that, I'm just adding to the point that you said. It's not, as simple as just saying Western and Eastern music therapy too. So you do have very ancient, systems of music healing.
Yeah.
You probably have heard of the shamans.
Shamanism, Shamanism.
In the north of South America.
Yes.
And then you might have heard some African customs. Then there are Australian Aborigines.
Correct.
You have Chinese systems.
Correct.
And you have your old European systems. And then you have the modern music therapy from the West.
Correct.
And of course, we have a very solid music therapy system in India. Okay, so all of these, are manifesting nada in their own way. So there is, for somebody who has to receive music therapy, to benefit from music therapy, some amount of cultural fine-tuning is required.
Okay.
Of course, the most, the best receptivity would be to give you something, from your basket of culture,
Correct.
from your kind of music therapy.
Correct. Yeah.
Not everybody is aware of these systems today, and everybody is trying to give one pill saves all kind of thing.
Yeah.
So from there,
please throw some light on that. Because there are so many ready-made lists also available online right now. This raga for this,
Coming to that, yes,
So
coming
I want
to
you to
that.
please clarify those doubts for all the viewers, Yeah.
Like, he mentioned earlier, in India, we have a way of looking at everything holistically. Whether it's your system of medicine, whether it's music, or any other, facet of life. So when you look at something holistically, it doesn't come down to the, the bare details of this raga cures something, this tala cures something.
Yeah.
It doesn't come down to that level.
Got it.
So you're looking at nada. You're talking about nada, right? Nada is not limited by any of these definitions.
Okay.
So we actually look at all the components of music. Shruti, timbre, swara, laya. So many things. Volume. Everything goes into forming what you can give as music therapy.
So that includes Shabda also. I wanted that clarification, nada and Shabda.
We'll come to Shabda.
Yes,
we'll come to that.
Yes.
So you look at all these components to integrate and create something that can be musically, therapeutically applicable.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. This might be common to all the systems that I mentioned. Then we come down to what is special in India.
Beautiful. Okay.
There I think you can continue with Shabda and we'll take it from there.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So, first of all, the structure of Indian music. To some extent Hindustani and to a large extent our Karnataka Sangeetam. So, it gives itself easily to understand what component affects the most.
Okay.
So, we can devise therapeutic modules or treatment plans based on the patient's condition.
Okay.
Cherry picking on what component. I'm not talking about raga. Okay? Raga is one component.
Okay.
I will be also looking into it, but not in a performer attitude.
Got it.
But I look at a raga, when I'm choosing a raga for my patient, okay, it is not a glossary of Ahir Bhairav to Yaman Kalyan. Okay. Curing arthritis to anything, cancer.
Okay.
I'm not looking at that sort of a glossary index.
Okay.
What I am looking at is what is the sort of the raga when presented in its authentic form.
Okay.
What is the corresponding rasa that it can evoke.
Okay.
And hence I'm looking at the rasotpatti.
Yeah.
And by the rasotpatti, I am looking at a hormonal regulation in the mind of the person.
If you could, for the viewers, if you could just briefly explain what rasa means.
Rasa is very simply put emotion.
Emotion. Yeah. We have 9, so yeah, we have a list of 9.
9 basic rasas. Actually 8.
And Shanta got added. Yeah.
Shanta got added. So. Which is the most difficult to convey.
Maybe that's why it got added in the last. So,
I mean, it's a stroke of genius if we are able to actually communicate the Shantarasa.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're able to deliver Shantarasa, then that's brilliant.
Absolutely.
Then that solves, that is the crux of music therapy.
Yeah.
All the other rasas on one side. If I'm actually able to communicate Shantarasa
you're setting the
to the patient involved, I have achieved my goal.
Makes sense,
right?
Makes sense.
So, we cherry pick across these components.
Okay.
And integrate them and present it to the patient.
Okay.
Not merely listening.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It doesn't need to involve only listening. So it can also be the performance of the musical activity.
Okay.
It can be learning of the musical activity. So these are all various delivery mechanisms of the medicine. Like in modern medicine, a person can be injected with the medicine through IV.
Yeah.
You can give an injection. You can give a tablet. You can give a sublingual. You can sometimes, even if the patient is totally not responsive, they would put eye drops.
Oh, wow. Goes to the
medicine.
Wow, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So it gets absorbed from there and goes to the bloodstream.
Okay.
So these are all various ways of delivering or inhalation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There are many medicines which we just inhale.
Okay.
Right. So all these different delivery mechanisms. Similarly, in music therapy, it's not only listening. Listening is one delivery mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is sometimes effective and sometimes not so effective. Okay. So we have to choose our delivery mechanism, just like in modern medicine.
Okay.
So, if there is not sufficient absorption of the particular medicine, there is no use repeatedly giving tablets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Similarly, if the patient, if you are able to see that the patient may not be so responsive to just listening passively to a musical piece, it is not going to be sufficient enough to have that sort of a delivery mechanism.
Okay.
So we train them on various. It can be any component, like I said. It can be konako. It can be instruments. It can be playing of instruments. Simple instruments. It can be playing the Tibetan bowl. Or the singing bowl. It can be so many things. Just the shruti. Okay. So coming to the shruti. Shruti is also a component, right?
Yeah.
Just like how I talked about shruti. Now from shruti we go to nada. Okay. You asked about the difference between nada and shabda.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, it is not nada and shabda are not the different words. Colloquially, we are using shabda to represent sound. Okay. And nada to represent musical sound.
Yeah, exactly. That is the reason I asked.
Whereas nada and shabda are nearly synonymous.
Yeah. Okay.
And the word we should be using is dwani.
Dwani. Okay.
Dwani. I'll give you an example. Have you heard of Nada Brahman?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Shabda Brahman?
Shiva? Is it referred to Shiva? No.
But have you heard of Shabda Brahman?
I think
You should have heard.
Yeah, I've heard the word.
Right?
Yeah.
Shabda Brahman. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But have you heard of Dwani Brahman?
No, I'm not. No. Okay.
So, these two, Nada and Shabda, are interchangeable. Okay? Because they are all Brahma Swarupam.
Okay.
Or they or the energy because of which physical sound is heard.
Okay.
And it is the samyogam of Anala and Prana that forms Nada.
Okay.
Whereas Dwani is created by striking something. Dwani, Dvandva.
Okay.
Dva, when you have two objects striking each other,
Okay.
the resultant is Dwani.
Okay. And you're bringing Ahata and Anahata here? So...
Ahata and Anahata, the concept of it is Ahata Nada, Anahata Nada.
Only with respect to Nada.
Okay. So, Ahata Nada is what we are calling as Dwani. Okay. Struck sound. Okay. When you strike something, when two particles collide, okay, they make a sound. Right? The energy waves that are released are sound.
There's friction happening basically here, right? Yeah.
Friction or any two things hitting. It may be two hands, two sticks, two anything. Two.
Correct.
Hit each other, forms sound,
Yeah.
physical sound. Okay, that is Ahatanada or Dhani.
Okay.
Anahatanada or the real Nada and all the way up to Nada Brahma or Shabda Brahma. Okay. Is unstruck sound. It is not caused by those sounds. You can hear it in a yogic state. Okay. But it is not caused by the striking of two physical particles.
Got it. Yeah.
It is formed by the combination of energies.
Okay.
Including
the sound that got created when the Big Bang happened?
Yes. Even the Big Bang, if you actually, it's a bang, right?
It's a bang, yeah. But there was no striking.
So it is a Ahatanada.
That was there a striking happening? Because it...
Yes. See, the Big Bang is a material explosion. Okay. I don't know if we should get technically into it. It deviates from our topic a bit, but still, there are few theories. If we are talking about a mathematical singularity, I agree. Okay, the Big Bang is actually not a bang.
It's not a bang. Yeah.
It happened quite peacefully.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
because it was
it an
question
expansion
of contemplation, right? I mean, there is no medium for any sound to have propagated. So, because sound needs a medium to propagate, and there was no medium created yet, right? So, technically, which means there is no sound there. So, would that be another?
If you are talking of mathematical singularity, we are talking about space itself being created there.
Being created there, yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before which there was no space outside the mathematical singularity, right? So it's a very complex thing.
We'll keep that for another podcast episode. Yeah.
But Shabda Brahman or Nada Brahman is the primordial sound. Rather, I would say it is the energy behind the physical sound. Okay. So, and interestingly, there is regarding the Shabda Brahman, just how we talked about persona. There is a Upanishad that says a very interesting vakyam that says as Veditavye Shabdam Param Chayat Shabda Brahmani Nishnataha Para Brahmadi Sagachati. So there are two vidyas that are worth learning. One is the way of looking at the Rupam of God. So looking at him as an Archavataram and seeing the form and finally reaching the Paramatma Tattva, Parabrahma, right?
Okay.
The other aspect is Shabdam, doing Nadopasana and reaching the Shabda Brahman or Nada Brahman.
Correct.
Okay. And one of the practice of either of these leads to the other. That's what the Upanishad Vakyam says.
Okay.
That finally Shabda Brahman and Para Brahman are exactly the same.
Okay.
Whichever Vidya you use to achieve it, your final achievement of Para Brahman is the same as Nada Brahman
Got it.
or Shabda Brahman.
Okay.
Okay, that is the concept.
Got it. Okay.
So, Nada Brahman or Shabda Brahman is the ultimate Godhead reference. And from that manifests Nada, and from Nada manifests Anahata Nada and Ahata Nada. And within Ahata Nada, you have Dwani, you have Vishesha Dwani.
Vishesha.
Vishesha Dwani.
Okay.
Which forms the basis of music.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So, our approach to music therapy, one of the approaches can be to understand where we have come away from the natural sound that we should be.
Oh, okay. The persona that we are.
Persona that we are, exactly. Right? So, getting back to that sound is a process of music.
Nice, very nice, okay.
Krishna Sharif Sahib also tells that Taradala Tagina Tamburi Swara Barade Arisa Dedu Tamburi.
Yeah.
That is, your body itself is a tambura.
Yeah.
Your mind is a tambura. But what we are doing, we are not tuning it. And we are not playing it the way it should be played.
Correct.
So, Baladev Barisa, most of us are landing up doing that, and that is leading to all the ailments.
Correct.
Getting back to the Shruti is the concept of music therapy.
Oh wow. Okay, getting back to the Shruti. That's nice. Okay.
Bring back to your natural Shruti.
Your natural Shruti. Yeah. Very nice. So then if you had to throw some light on the what and how aspects. So you did speak about multiple components that you look at when you're considering a person, when you're healing. Right. So if you had to maybe compare between a couple of other very predominant music therapy methodologies out there. So could you talk about some of the what and how of the other forms and what you have been practicing so far?
Okay. So primarily, Sanaka Maharishi has given a very important lesson. He says there are three approaches to any therapy.
Okay.
First is Yukti Vyapashrayam.
Okay.
In Yukti Vyapashrayam, it is logical therapeutics.
Okay.
There must be a logic, a mechanism of action. In modern medicine terms, we call it mechanism of action. So there is a particular molecule that can create a particular reaction within our body. Okay.
And hence the effect.
Okay.
So if you can prove that logic to me, I'm ready to accept it.
Okay. I think pretty much what science also, how scientific medicine also works. Okay.
I am ready to accept your therapeutic approach, provided you are able to show me the yukti or the logic behind it.
Okay. And this should be the same for everyone who listens to it also, and not subjective. If I played it to 5 people, it should have the same effect. Is that what it means?
That is one logic.
Okay.
So that is the logic of statistics that you are telling me.
Correct.
Right? So I have a sample size and I am able to show that it is working in majority of the patients.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That is one logic. So I can also have, as I said, mechanism of action. If a person has acidity and I am giving him antacid, and I am able to prove that by taking antacid he is able to overcome his acidity. I don't need to do a clinical trial of it.
Correct. Okay.
Right? So I am able to prove it within that logic. It's working, and I am also able to show it that it is working.
Okay.
So that is Yukti Vyapashrayan.
Okay.
In Ayurvedic parlance, they use the Yukti on three doshas.
Okay.
Vata, Pitta, and based on that they.
Okay.
The second approach is Sattva Vajayan.
Okay.
Sattva here refers to the mind. Okay, and it is about mind over matter. Okay, so if we are able to control our mind to an extent that the mind does not interfere with the body's intelligence,
Okay.
then the body takes care of its health,
Okay.
and the mind is equal.
If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. That's how.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
Yeah.
So that is Sattva Vajayan.
Okay.
So a lot of yoga concepts also come into Sattva Vajayan.
Okay.
Right? Yoga is also basically Chitta Vritti Nirodha, right?
Yes, yoga.
So most of our problems are because of the Chitta Vrittis. So
For the viewers, if you could expand on what Chitta Vritti for the viewers.
okay, Vritti, to put it in a layman context, it is basically the functioning of the brain. Rather the unnecessary functioning of the brain. The brain is constantly in functioning mode, which it actually need not. And it settles into a thoughtlessness and mindfulness. Okay. Then actually starts the working of the mind.
Correct. So is it in a way? I mean, I'm not sure if I'm talking a little technical jargon, but is it suppressing the reptilian brain, the amygdala? Is it a suppression that you're doing there?
No. No, it is not.
No, it is not. Okay.
It is not. Now, okay. See, here we have to again consider manas. Okay. Unfortunately, many of these are intranslatables.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
So we have dhi, dhriti, smriti, prajna, buddhi, medha, chitta, manas. We have such a huge concept.
Correct. Yeah.
Is there any of these that you can translate into English?
No, actually not. The equivalents. I think a lot of words we use the same word to represent a lot of it. Yeah.
So let's not directly get into amygdala and reptilian or sympathetic, parasympathetic.
Yeah.
Yes, there is an overlap, definitely, but it does not convey the totality.
Got it.
So here we are talking about the manas and the chitta, basically. So you are able to, it is not suppression, it is like allowing the mind to settle.
Got it.
Okay. We are not allowing the mind to settle. You remember the first sloka I said about Manomata Gajendrasya?
Yeah, yes.
So, similarly, you are not allowing the elephant to settle.
Okay.
The elephant must settle down.
But if you could throw some light on this incident you must have heard. In fact, Sowmya, we had heard about it during the MA also, that there was a particular music that was played in a stadium and somewhere in the West, and people actually started fighting and killing each other. During some match that was happening. So it was a music track that was being played, by the way, but I think it was a very heavy. Something with a lot of drums and a lot of heavy metal in it. So have you heard of that incident? If because it was music which created that violence also there, and again we have music creating silence and music creating violence at the same time, right? And right, so you have kettle drums being played during wars, and we have all those references in Mahabharata or Ramayana, right, using music instruments there. So because I am also studying neuroscience a lot, and both of you are neuroscience scholars yourselves, the brain has to get involved. So what part of the brain is actually getting impacted by nada as such? If it is calming you, and if it's quantifiable, what part of the brain is it actually impacting? That if you could share your experience on that.
Primarily, I would like to place a disclaimer. We are not scholars in neuroscience.
Okay. Student of neuroscience, maybe I'll guess.
So,
concepts of neuroscience are integral to therapy, and especially music therapy, because we are dealing, many of these things through the brain.
Correct.
So to that extent, yes, we need to use concepts of neuroscience.
Yeah, because ultimately everything is happening in the brain for us in if we have to look at it, right? Music therapy as such, the processing, again, you may correct me also, because music also, impacts plants and other elements of nature as well, so which don't have a brain. So I'm assuming even if somebody is sleeping in coma and the music is being played to them, anything, whether it's a laya, a track, or a nada track, it still has a molecular impact on them, even on their other cells of their body. So if you could please just maybe throw some light on that. Where exactly is the impact happening at a vibrational level? Where is it happening?
Okay. Actually, when I was talking about Ayurveda, Charaka Maharishi's statements, he said about three things. I explained the first two, which is the Yukti Vyapashrayam, the Sattva-Vadhyam.
Yeah.
The third is Deno Vyapashrayam.
Oh, okay.
Deno Vyapashrayam is divine intervention.
Oh, okay.
Okay. When we are talking about divine intervention, we should not confuse it with faith healing.
Faith
healing.
Okay. Example,
I just believe in a particular thing, and then I keep praying to that particular thing, and that particular thing will solve my problem.
Okay.
So that comes under faith healing.
Okay.
I am not here to contest faith healing, because I don't have sufficient data to state either. But what I would like to say is Daiva Vyapashrayam is not faith healing.
Oh, okay.
It is not just praying to someone randomly and expecting improvement in oneself.
Yeah. No religion element included here.
There is religion because it is all Indian knowledge system.
Okay.
Obviously, every part of our body has its own devatas.
Yeah.
So, if somebody has issue with their medha, then they would go to medha dakshinamurti.
Okay.
Right? You can't expect probably Lakshmi Devi to address that issue of yours.
Okay. There are devatas for each of those.
They have their portfolios.
Okay.
Similarly, there is a text called Karma Khanda, which explains the different karmas that we would have performed in our previous births, which has resulted in different health challenges in the present birth.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
So, the Ayurvedic texts help us to identify what has to be nullified in order that I don't experience it now.
Interesting. Okay. And this can be done through Nada?
Yes.
Wow.
Nada Makaranda, Nada says, Tasya Geetasya Mahatmyam, Kaha Prashamsitum Arhasi.
Okay.
Tasya Geetasya Mahatmyam.
That sounds.
Kaha Prashamsitum Arhasi.
Okay. Whom is he asking that?
He is asking and he is answering it himself.
Okay.
Dharmartha Kama Mokshana Idame Sadhana.
Okay.
That is Kamana Ayusham Mahat. Of all our desires,
longevity is
good health, life is our most desired.
Correct.
So, Nanda says that good health is also achieved by good practice of music.
Okay. Is it specified as to who has to do what? I mean, is it about bija mantras or what exactly does one have to practice?
So, again, the yoga text says Sapada Koti Laya Prakara.
Okay.
1.25 crore techniques of music therapy.
Okay.
So, today we have very few of this. Yeah. We are not yet in a position to exactly say which of these will be be successful.
Got it. Okay.
I will just add one thing. You were asking about the particulars of, Bija Mantras, and you're talking about all these things. So, beyond, initially we made the statement that from an Indian knowledge system perspective, we are able to look at things holistically. The beauty of Indian knowledge systems, whether it is Ayurveda, whether it is Yoga, whether it is Sangeeta, any of these, the beauty of all these systems is that even though you are able to approach it holistically, maybe for a diagnostic reason, when it comes to application, when it comes to a therapeutic benefit, when it comes to that stage of, delivering the benefit, we are able to individualize it.
Okay.
That is the strength of all these systems.
Nice. Okay.
So, it's not like one thing will do the same activity for everybody. It's not like one raga will do the same thing to everybody.
Okay. Got it.
All the holistic approach is in the diagnostics. In understanding, we said persona. You are a different person, I am a different person, he is a different person.
Correct. Yeah.
So from there, the individualization starts.
Makes sense.
So your shruti is different.
Correct.
Your body composition is different. Your mind's composition is different.
Okay.
In order to be therapeutically effective, you have to look at all these aspects of a person.
Correct.
So many times what happens is, which is also the complication in making a scientific model, and I think earlier we had a talk about this. How can you put this into a scientific model and quantitatively measure something? The challenge is also because of this variability.
Yeah, correct.
But it's also the beauty of our systems that you are able to deconstruct and put back together the elements, like pick and choose the elements that will help you, which may be different from what will help me. It starts right from the thing of your body being let's say a constitution of the Panchabutas. You look at the Vata Pitta Kapha. When you're looking at the constitution of the mind, you look at the percentage of Sattva Rajo Tama Guna. All these things actually have to be taken into account when we build a module to heal someone.
Got it. Okay. So if you took, I'm sure the viewers would always be waiting for, okay, now I'm suffering from sleeplessness. What raga are you going to recommend to me? I'm sure people would be waiting for that ready-made list, right? So, sometimes maybe ragas the most common ones people would mention would be a Neelambari or a Kedaram in a very slow flowing pace for good sleep, maybe, right? So in fact, both of you have I'm sure you've seen hundreds of those lists online, right? So what I did, I think I came up across the first list when I was in maybe 10th standard or 11th standard, if I remember, and I was a massive fan of Miyanki Malhar, that was played by Hariprasad Chaurasia, Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia. So I downloaded the MP3 file of one of his tracks, and then I forwarded it up to like 50 to 60 people, right? And then I asked them to close their eyes and listen to it and tell me if they visualize something. Right? I didn't prompt them into anything. I just told them, tell me what you see, right? So interestingly, more than 70% of them. So if I send it to 50 people, at least 35 to 40 people told me the same imagination. Right, with no prompting, they told me the same. I'm not telling that now because maybe I would want the viewers. I'll put up maybe the link on the description of this video, and people can actually listen to that, and then put up in the comments as to what exactly they saw. Because everybody told me the same aspect of imagination with no prompt, right? So, and it was exactly the same. Maybe 3 to 4 things. If they mentioned maybe 5 things, these 3 things were an overlap in 40 of the 50 people, right? 35 to 40 of the 50 people. So that's when it triggered to me that maybe there is some common trigger that's happening in all of them despite the subjectivity, right? So I would like to know your experience with that. So I've never heard anybody saying, I become extremely alert when I listen to Neelambari. Okay, or I fall asleep when I am listening to Athana, right? So, or a Kedara Gola when it is being sung in third speed, right? So nobody telling me that I fell asleep while listening to this. I don't know, it's subjective, right? So your experience when it comes to these common generic things, like for example, Miyanki Malhar, I can confidently say I have forwarded a couple of Miyanki Malhar selected links on the flute to at least 120 people, and who had headache related issues, and 90% of them have told me that the pain was gone in the next half an hour or 45 minutes. The pain was decreased or gone. So it definitely didn't remain the same, right? So, and this is like people who have no clue about what music is. They have no idea what Miyanki Malhar is, what ragam it is, whether it's a jhal that is being played or a bandish, no clue, but it worked. So what is your experience with things like those? Does it, have you also experienced a commonality in such things? What is your comment on these ready-made lists, despite the subjectivity?
Okay. Firstly, would you like to take out the Neelambari? Tell about the Mani Mukuradari and those sort of songs. May not be able to induce sleep.
Yeah, I think, when it comes to the topic of ragas, you can't do away with the subjectivity. Okay? In your experiment, you gave the same file to everybody. What is the source or basis of your standardization? Why Miyanki Malhar? Why flute? Why that particular thing? Whether it is a shruti that works, whether it is an instrument that works, whether it is a raga that works, we don't know.
Correct.
This the combination of all that which seems to have worked.
Correct.
Okay. But the same thing, if you want, somebody else, if you take another artist playing Miyanki Malhar, whether we have the same effect, I don't know.
Correct.
Even if it's another flute artist. We don't know if it's going to be the same effect.
The same. Correct.
If it is somebody who's playing it in a different shruti.
Correct.
We don't know if it's going to be the same effect.
Correct.
You have a Mohanam, you have a book.
Yeah.
Okay? You have 2 different artists performing both.
Different, yeah. Correct.
You may not have the same effect.
Correct.
So it is not possible to do away with the subjectivity. For example, there is this song in Neelambari. Mani Nupuradhari Rajagopala Mani Nupuradhari Kankana Kinkini Gana Mani Nupuradhari. Okay?
Give a dance.
You cannot sing this slowly.
Okay. Okay.
You can't sing this slowly.
Okay.
It is about baby Krishna dancing.
Dancing. Okay. The composers.
You cannot sing this slowly. Will somebody be able to sing to this, sleep to this Neelambari?
Yeah. Yeah. So there is substitute. I mean, that was one of my next questions eventually. How does speed, timbre, pitch, how does all these things come into picture, So yeah. You've come into the topic already. Yeah. Yeah. Does make sense. So there is
as she said, see, Raga is unfortunately, it's like, save the tiger.
Okay.
Tiger is not the only animal worth saving in the forest.
Correct. For the ecosystem to survive, yeah.
The entire forest need to be saved.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But Save the Tiger campaign is what helped us build the momentum.
Correct.
Right?
Something to start.
Similarly, I could say Raga therapy is the tiger. Okay. But the forest does not start and end with the tiger.
Okay, that's correct. Yeah.
Similarly, music therapy does not start or end with Raga. Raga is a small component, very small component of music therapy.
Got it. Okay.
So it should be given its due respect. But unfortunately today, we think that it's only about Raga therapy.
I will give you one more example. Okay? So, many popular ragas, Janaranjaka ragas, people listen to, commonly, and they tend to think that, this makes you happy, this makes you sad, or this makes you active, or whatever, right?
Correct.
So, see, we deal with a lot of neurodivergent children.
Correct. Yeah.
Diagnostically, medically, they may be diagnosed to be on the autism spectrum, what we call as ASD.
Yes.
Even though medically that could be what's on paper, one child would be absolutely docile.
Okay.
Sitting in a corner, does not want to socialize, does not even want to see your face, does not want to hear your voice, and like, just leave me alone, We also have children on the spectrum who are super active.
Got it. I remember you mentioning somewhere one of the. In fact, I remember seeing when I joined you at Asha. There also for one of the, I think the center called Asha.
Right.
I remember you gave a flute to a child who had, I think, a spinal problem, and instead of playing it actually held the flute and started playing it rhythmically on the table.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you could please narrate. I mean, something on those lines.
Yeah. So if you're giving the same raga to both these children just because they are medically diagnosed with, something on the same spectrum, it's not going to have the same effect.
Got it.
So if I give a Kannada, for example, the docile child might feel active, but if I give the same Kannada to the hyperactive child, just because both of them are under ASD,
got it.
it's going to have a contradictory effect for me.
Okay. So does that require you to do a trial and error before you arrive at what intervention you want to give to that child? How do you approach it?
Which is why we don't limit to raga.
Which is
why we do not limit
to raga.
Only to ragas, because you know that like more than how many thousands of ragas do we have.
Yeah.
If I have to experiment each one on all these people,
correct.
I don't know if this yugam is enough.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If I have to make an effect today, I have a kid in front of me who is experiencing a meltdown, and here I need to do something to control that. to help the child to calm down. What is it that I need to do immediately? I cannot be trying out,
Correct.
several ragas at that moment.
Correct. Absolutely.
Which is why I talked about deconstructing to the elements of music.
Okay.
There is a more generic nature in approaching from there.
Got it. So how would you start? I mean, because I also have a counseling center where kids, parents bring their kids, especially when it comes to anger issues in like really young kids and hyperactivity, also being ADHD, all of these. If I had to refer one of them to you, so you could help them, with these, how would you start the journey with this child?
Okay, that's
anger management is actually a pet topic. In today's world, we are seeing that the anger quotient in society is just increasing.
Yeah, true.
And then, unfortunately, in children.
And it's a huge topic. Again, we don't have short answers for it. However, we do an elaborate diagnostics. Okay, our screening and understanding of the child's condition itself takes us about 8 to 10 sessions.
Oh wow! Okay.
At least half an hour.
Okay.
So it is not enough if you see the symptoms and prescribe something.
Correct.
You have to understand what is the source of anger in the child.
Absolutely.
Okay. So is it something that is irritated about? Irritations is a concept in itself. So we have to understand the irritant and see how we can train him to come off the irritants.
Got it.
Or is something frustrating him?
Absolutely. That's a very nice important point.
Frustrations with self or expectations with others. What is the source of anger?
Very important.
But then it can also be a psychological basis or a neurological basis.
Yeah.
There may be a shortfall of dopamine.
Could be, yeah.
Right? So we first of all try to understand and get to the source of the issue. And then musically we are able to access the source.
Okay.
Right? So in music, we are able to create patterns and then create expectations in patterns. Okay. And then break those expectations and create neutral patterns.
By changing the pattern.
Got it. Okay. Got it.
So this practice of creating a pattern, breaking a pattern, creating a pattern, breaking a pattern, right? Is something that we have seen really helps in children understanding that, okay, not everything is going to go as I expect it to. Okay. We are not yet sure, but probably it works on a transfer effect. Okay. I'm talking the neuroscience of it.
Got it.
Probably there is a transfer effect happening there. Wherein when they learn something musically, if we are able to provide them a context in real life, their brain does the mapping and transfers the learning.
The learning they are able to apply in their daily life.
Got it. Okay. Brilliant. So I also wanted to check with you because on your profile also and even on your Instagram page you've mentioned it's not just the patient that you deal with, the healer, also the caregivers also, right? So I mean, especially with your work that you do at Shankara Hospital, right? So I mean, I would want you to please maybe share with the viewers about what you do as part of Svarakshema and this very noble thing that you're doing at Shankara Cancer Care. So what is it that you're doing there, if you could throw some light on that?
Okay, at Shankara Cancer Hospital, primarily we have been running a series of healing concerts. So from 2018 onwards, with a short break for COVID. So we have conducted about 63 episodes of what we lovingly call as Svarakshema series.
Yes, beautiful.
Tara to the patients and caregivers and the medical staff through Swara.
Very nice.
So that is the intention behind these concerts. So many great artists have joined hands with us on this initiative and very humbly presented their music for the benefit of the patients.
Very nice.
So the initiative is that the auditorium in the hospital is connected to every ward.
Okay.
And every lobby in the hospital.
Okay.
So when we have a healing concert happening in the auditorium, the patient is able to listen and view and enjoy the concert from their bedside without disrupting the flow of treatment.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Okay.
If they do have a break, some of them are able to come in and join in the auditorium and listen.
Yes. Okay.
Live. As it is happening, it is relayed at their bedside.
Very nice. Okay. Okay.
Also in the lobbies where patients are waiting for their turn to meet the doctor.
Very
So
nice.
overall, we are trying to create a positive environment in the hospital
Okay.
through sharing music.
Very nice. Very nice. And do you request the artist on the selection of what they perform? Is there a discussion? Yeah.
We do have a list of do's and don'ts. Primarily, there are a lot of don'ts that we share with the artists and we discuss with them prior to making a list.
Okay.
Because not everything is
Therapeutic as such?
not everything is healthy enough to be performed. So there it's very important to come to the concept of music as entertainment, music as education, music as therapy.
Very nice. Okay.
In different things.
Okay.
If we all have learned music as music students and we want to teach music with the intention of making somebody a performer, your student, you intend that at some point of time this child will be able to perform and entertain audiences. So education, music as education is the music lessons that you impart. That's not the same as the other two.
Okay. Yeah.
Music as entertainment is when you perform to an audience. A regular concert or show or anything where you perform music with the sole purpose of entertaining your audience. Okay. Whereas music as therapy is very different from these two. In fact, many of the musical activities that we perform may not even sound musical to the person who is learned musically.
Okay.
So on that note, I will just tell you, we also have these concepts of active music therapy and passive music therapy.
Okay.
So everybody in the world, when we say music therapy, only talks about passive music therapy, which is listening to an artist, listening to music, listening to a raga, or listening to something that is their favorite.
So that is passive. Okay.
That is passive music therapy. But there is a whole, world of techniques in what we call as active music therapy, where the patient is actively engaged through a musical activity that they're able to perform. And this does not mean they have to have learned music or they should have been trained in music or anything.
Okay.
There's no prerequisite like that for a patient who needs to get the benefit.
Okay. Very nice.
Okay. I'll come to that. But now, since we are on the topic of Svarakshema, we're talking about passive music therapy, wherein the patient is only going to listen to the concert and get the benefit out of it. So there is a specific set of don'ts and do's in that order that we share with the artists, we discuss with the artists before they make their list to perform them. And only those artists who have been very gracious to accept these conditions have been performing in the Svarakshema series. And so primarily there are these rules that our granthas have given us, our Sangeeta granthas have given us these rules about very simple things like only Mangalakara ragas we use in such contexts. Mangalakara ragas are given to us as a prescription. The Gana Panchaka, and you have your the Kedara Gaulai, Narayana Gaulai, Sri Ragam, Vasanta, this series. Ahana, Suruti. Yes. this series is primarily the basket that we would like to pick from.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. And we completely avoid the use of Vivadi Ragas.
Okay. So that's something very, very personal to me. I'm a massive user.
I'm making this point.
Yeah. But interesting.
I think we have had long discussions about Vivadi Ragas.
Yeah. I mean, when I had discussions about this with Yesudas sir, also Dr. KJ Yesudas. Interestingly, that can be a separate topic of discussion completely. But Vivadi Ragas also have tremendous healing effects. On when we get into chakra related things, he has also experimented it. So, in fact, he very specifically told in Malayalam, energy veche kalikirudhu. So that was his straight sentence.
Exactly.
So, right. So
exactly why we cannot use it in a public setting.
But the therapeutic effects were very clear. I remember him mentioning. But maybe it requires a lot of other research. A lot more research to be done before.
And a lot more practice and tuning of how this has to be sung, how it has to be practiced.
Yeah, correct.
So when you're using it for patients, it again depends on the artist, how good the artist is, what instrument you're playing in.
Correct.
All these things come into play.
Absolutely.
So we cannot generically give Vivadi Ragas.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's like the medicinal use of cannabis, marijuana, right? So marijuana is proven to have some medicinal benefits also.
Correct.
Does that mean you freely distribute marijuana?
True. The right.
I agree. Marijuana has medicinal benefits.
Yeah.
But let's be clear.
Strictly on prescription.
Absolutely. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Nice. So what are the other areas of health and well-being that Indian music therapy can address? So what else have you been prescribing or addressing this for? Other dimensions of well-being, other areas of well-being. What else can Indian music therapy address?
So I think major area of our work is with neurodivergent children. So now we have more than 2,500 children on our music therapy program
nice.
as on date. So we do this as group sessions and as individual sessions. So what we are able to help the children with is, with their day-to-day life. As I told you, this is not music as education. So we're not teaching them music, expecting them to perform magically on a stage later on in their life.
Exactly.
Some of them learn it, which can be a byproduct. But what we do is design music therapy modules based on the requirement of the child to address non-musical goals. Such as, behavior meltdowns, modification of certain behavioral aspects, helping them with speech. Many of them have speech challenges to help them produce speech, to help them get speech clarity.
Nice.
Then, based on certain instruments, we are able to work on flexibility, the fine and gross motor skills.
Nice. Okay.
And at a level of breathing regulation.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which regulates several other processes in the body. So in neurodivergent children, we are able to address these and a few more areas.
Very nice. Okay. I remember you mentioning about curing and managing. So both of these words, So if you could please throw some light on that.
So that's a very valid point. See, among neurodivergent children and many other conditions also, we have to understand two important concepts. One is cure of the condition, and the other is management of the condition. Right? Cure in the sense you are completely off the condition at some point in time of the treatment. Right? That is, say somebody is being treated for a heart condition, for example. Okay. So after the treatment, say they have a block in the heart. Surgically, the block has been removed and a stent has been placed, and now he is cured of it, right? So that problem does not exist anymore.
Correct.
Later, if another block develops, that's a different issue altogether.
Correct.
But right now, he has been cured. What we imply.
Correct.
Right? But there are many conditions in which we do not have cure. Like autism. Many of these disorders and Down syndrome, all these neurodiversity itself, most of these conditions don't have cure.
Oh, yeah.
So at no point in time are we able to say, okay, now the child is fully out of autism. He has become neurotypical.
Makes sense.
Okay, that we understand with our present knowledge, we understand that is not possible.
Got it.
Even through music therapy, that is not possible.
Okay.
What is possible is management of that condition. Like, some of them are not able to speak well.
Okay.
So what we do is we enhance those parts of their speech.
Okay.
Not all of their speech, but at least help them to speak in a particular way that it is understandable for others.
Okay.
They are able to symbolize, they are able to vocalize, they are able to make meaningful gestures, communication. Now that is management of the condition, but that is pretty significant when it comes to our children's lives and their parents and caregivers.
Got it.
So majority of music therapy, what we are doing is management of various conditions. We do not claim to cure.
Got it.
In the context of cancer, for example, we cannot claim to cure cancer using music.
Yeah.
That's not true. What we can do is, see, there's a patient who has just been freshly diagnosed with the condition. Okay, at that point of time, the fear, anxiety, all those things are super high. They don't know what's going to happen next in their life, the uncertainties that are, lying in front of them.
Yeah.
These are not things that some of them are not even ready to accept that this is what it is.
Absolutely. The spiritual
right?
question, spiritual pain, why me?
Not only spiritual, a lot of things. Like I said, all the components of the, pain kick in at that point of time, more than even the physical pain. At that point of time, the diagnosis kicks in other areas of pain.
Got it. Absolutely.
At that point, patient compliance in many people, we see that it's very low. There are people who say, fine, let me be. This is a deadly disease, and I know that there's no guarantee that my undergoing a treatment is going to cure me. I've seen everything in life, enough. I don't want to deal with the treatment. I know that that's also complicated. It's okay. What we can do as music therapists at that point of time is, if we know that the person has hope in taking chemotherapy and undergoing that kind of treatment and extending their life with, a reasonable quality of life.
Correct. Yeah.
I think it's very important to give them that chance.
Yeah, that chance. Absolutely.
So at that point, we intervene as music therapists and help the patient become compliant to the treatment that the doctors are asking them to take.
Got it.
It's this, again, connecting back to a point that we mentioned earlier. This is something which is not only for the patient.
Yeah.
Comes as an equal shock to the, the children or the parents or the siblings or the family.
Correct.
Friends and anybody who's, with them.
Associated.
We need to give them also that time to accept and understand and support these people in treatment and give them that extra chance. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is what managing is about.
Very nice.
You cannot cure cancer, but you can give them something to hold on to, which gives them strength to go through the treatment and live further.
Very nice.
A need to live, motivation to take the treatment and continue.
Absolutely.
And in these cases, we don't involve ragas or anything. What we do is a process called songwriting.
Oh, okay.
we engage with the patients and it's almost music-enabled psycho-counseling.
Okay. Music-enabled psycho-counseling. Okay. Okay.
So what happens is this, musically when we offer suggestions, it goes a lot deeper into the subconscious.
Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by musically giving the suggestions?
So, if there is some reinforcement I want the patient to make, that it's okay, it's a matter of few more months, and then I am going to be out of it. If that is the case, first we have to take the consent of the doctor as to what we have to get the patient to accept. If the patient is in palliative care and we have to get them to accept the eventuality, that's a different process. If we have to get them to accept that this is going to be temporary and then I'm going to get back to a better quality of life, then that is also important. Right?
So the nature of the music that we need to share at every stage over here is different. So if it is somebody at diagnosis, like I mentioned earlier, that is a different set of patients whom we have to motivate, where we know there is hope in treatment. And we have to feed them with that hope. And encourage them to take the treatment. That is a different thing. And there are people who have started taking treatment and are finding it difficult to handle the side effects. And whatever social stigma comes out of going through the treatment, there are a lot of physical changes that happen while undergoing chemotherapy and radiation, and not just physical, even the people who look at you, there is pain. There is pain when somebody looks at you and you don't want to show yourself like that to the world. There are all these things that they are facing while they are on the treatment. The kind of music that we play or get them to involve in at that period is different. And then when they've undergone several rounds of treatment and they reach this palliative stage where some people, unfortunately, we don't know whether there is any more hope.
Got it. So if I could just ask this, I mean, again, maybe the viewers might be having this question. I have this question too. So is it the Shanta Rasa Utpatti only that you are aiming at, or for somebody for like in the palliative care, if you are administering music therapy also to them, is it bringing them, giving them a calm mind? Is what else are you aiming at?
Regarding the passive music therapy, yes. Regarding passive music therapy, we are basically looking at the Shantarasa. But again, that cannot be generalized. The pain of music therapy is nothing is generalized. Okay.
So what else do you?
We had cases where we've had to deal with anger management first. In palliative care, before if somebody is in, we've had instances where there are patients who have thrown things at us. When we go to offer music therapy, how do you approach the patient giving a piece of Shantarasa music? You first have to prime them. You first have to make them receptive. To reach that state where they are able to receive Shantarasa.
Absolutely. Please share some success stories. Can you narrate a couple of success stories? How you went through, how maybe somebody peacefully departed, or maybe somebody's, maybe the doctors had mentioned they have X number of months left, and this actually helped them with X plus Y number of months. Would you have some beautiful stories like that to share?
Yes.
Okay, I will share one instance of where we worked on patient compliance. Okay, so I'll start with that first. Where there was this gentleman who was, who had a complete life of service in as a scientist. And he was working in Mumbai. He has come back and settled in his hometown, Bangalore. And his children are working abroad. And here he is. He has come for some kind of a cough-related issue, which got escalated and all that. And they diagnosed this as stage 3 lung cancer. So it was pretty much a shocker. It was only him and his wife, elderly gentleman, elderly, couple. And he said, I've done, I've worked well, I have earned well, I have saved well, my family is in a good state now, sons are abroad, I don't want to disturb their routines.
Okay.
Just let me be, I don't want to go through treatment and, finish me off.
Okay.
His wife was not in a state to make a decision because she was just shocked with the diagnosis.
Correct.
He wanted to wait for her sons to come and, talk. But we know that treatment for cancer is not going to finish in 1 day, 2 days.
Correct.
It's going to take months. So their children have to make necessary arrangements in their workplace to take that kind of, time off, come or, divide the shifts between both of them in caregiving and things like that.
Yeah.
They also need a bit of time because everybody is shocked with the diagnosis.
Yeah.
But he said, I don't want to wait for anybody. I don't want to take treatment.
Okay.
But then the doctors felt that if he undertook a few rounds of chemotherapy, he could get a few more years.
Okay.
So we had this discussion at the hospital, and he was refusing counseling.
Okay.
He was refusing painkillers. He was refusing medicine. He was refusing any kind of intervention.
Okay.
So when we went there, thinking, the psycho-oncology department actually called us in and they said, why don't you try? Because nothing else is working here. Just try. So we don't know the background of the individual. Like a fresh day, we just go and try to meet him. He says, I don't want to meet anybody. I'm very tired. I don't want to meet anybody. I don't want anybody entering this room. Thank you. It started out with that. So we just hung around a bit, tried to talk to the counselor, who was trying to get him to accept to just have a conversation with us. But he was not budging and he just turned away and, faced the wall and he was lying down. Then we made a request and we said, say uncle, you don't need to do anything. Allow me to just sing a song to you. One song, you don't have to do anything. I will sing and I will leave.
Okay.
I don't think that's too much. Will you please let me do this?
Okay.
So he was a little hesitant and then he did this.
Okay. Fine.
So he was not even looking at us. So I just sat there and I started singing. I started singing the Devanama in Sidhu.
Okay.
Random because we don't know anything about the person.
Got it. Okay.
Interestingly, what happened was, by the time I came to the first charana, he turned and he was looking at me, which itself was, a step in the positive.
Okay.
I finished singing and I said, thank you so much. And I started, exiting.
Okay.
But I was at the door, he said, will you come tomorrow?
Nice. Okay.
I know what he said. We said, of course, if you want to listen, wake up. So when we got back the next day, it was a little more open.
Okay.
And we started talking about the things. He started talking about the raga. And in the conversation, we figured out that he likes Madan Mohan.
Oh, okay.
The Jasarier's
director.
So then I started singing Tu Ganga Ki Mauj Mein Jamna Ka Dhara from Beju Pavra. And as I was singing, I realized he was trying to hum this along with me.
Okay.
So we kept this, our Hindu Bhairavi, the Bhairavi of Hindustani.
Correct.
Only that, we hardly spoke anything. Only this was going on for almost a week.
Got it. Okay.
And then one of his sons came and, he saw this interaction and all and he got his dad, the way when we were just doing this, he had this, there is this table that they put for the food and everything. So, as he was listening to the song, I saw his hands moving with a cross stick.
Okay.
I said, I think you're a harmonium player. You used to play harmonium, right? And then, his face just lit up and he said, how did you know? I saw the way you were fingering, on the table. So then he said, yeah, but I don't have any connection to that right now. Busy with work, with children, with that, with this and all. The son got him a keyboard.
Okay.
And after that, we had a few months of musical interaction where I would sing, he would play, he would sing, he would play, he would ask his son to sing, and we made videos of all this and all. And he took about 3 months, 4 months. He was there, taking chemotherapy and all that.
Okay.
And it was quite peaceful.
Okay. So
He
what was
continued
the
and he
duration?
went back home.
What was the duration that doctor had mentioned? Where had they mentioned an estimated?
They did not give therapy. We were not even sure about that 3 months.
Oh, okay.
But with the treatment, he lived for another 3 years.
3 years. Wow. Amazing. Okay.
Okay, and the sons were able to go back, bring their children, meet the grandfather, have some nice moments, make some nice memories,
Beautiful.
record some videos with the grandfather and the grandchildren, make him sing, make him play an instrument which is not done for 3 decades.
Excellent. Yeah.
So, when the eventuality happened, the family was, in a far more accepting state.
Correct.
And, they wrote to us to say that, thank you for all those memories that we were able to create with my father.
Beautiful. Very
Which we would have totally missed because we were away.
Correct.
So when you were talking about caregivers, this is a very important aspect of that.
So much trauma that they might be going through. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not only the patient, everybody in that environment.
Correct. Beautiful. So nice. And what about children? I mean, any success story you'd like to share with especially children with special needs, maybe any of these autistic disorders?
Plenty.
So there's this child who had extreme spasticity with his right hand.
Okay.
So his hand always was in this posture and his fingers curled inside.
Okay.
With they were of course trying a lot of physiotherapy on him. He was undergoing a lot of other therapies, and many had failed because the time we were introduced to him, he was 14 years of age.
Okay.
We sort of understood this, and again, no passive music, no music listening, nothing.
Okay.
We started directly playing on drums.
Okay.
So initially he was like, I can't play this.
Okay.
So we got a plain drum and we used to get him to play like this.
Okay.
Then slowly we got him to open his hand and just touch once the surface of it.
Okay.
In the meantime, I used to perform and he used to get very excited about it.
Okay. Nice.
So it was just the motivation factor.
So you used to perform on the Kanjira itself?
Yeah, I used to perform on the Kanjira.
Kanjira, okay. So he's getting a visual input as to what to do. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Give the Kanjira to him and just let him do whatever he can with his, condition.
Okay.
Slowly, we helped him through, we worked in tandem with the physiotherapist.
Okay.
Help open up his fingers and just make those beats.
Okay.
Just the talam.
Nice.
So he started playing the talam. For me, playing the kanjira.
Okay.
And then within a matter of few months, we were actually able to get him to isolate his fingers.
Oh wow.
And make.
Very nice. Okay, that's nice. Okay.
In a matter of about a year, he was able to hold a pen and start writing.
Fantastic. Okay, that's lovely.
That's
amazing.
That was like phenomenal improvement. We don't find such.
Yeah. Absolutely. Fantastic to hear that. Yeah. Again, I think in the interest of time, I have just two more questions left. So where does stotras and mantras fall here again? So what is your take on recitation of stotras and mantras and japas when it comes to music therapy?
Okay. So obviously it comes under Daiva, right?
Okay.
So it has to be specific to the condition. Okay. To the data. To the time period in which they are involved, and the dosage also has to be understood. Okay. And with respect to stotras are universally acceptable, mantras or not, because there are Shastra Pramanam that I can present that there are doshas that are created by the wrong chanting of mantras.
Okay.
So unless we are already in a path of sadhana, I personally wouldn't subscribe to recommending mantras.
Okay.
Stotras, shlokas, sahasranamas are perfect.
Okay. So things like Rudram and Purusha Sukta, Shri Suktam, all of those?
It's my personal view again. In our experience also, not really advisable to use any of the Vedic mantras.
Okay.
Because all the suttas are mantras essentially. And, the very concept, it has to be chanted in the way that it has been prescribed.
Got it. Okay.
And there has been so many doshas mentioned. If they are not chanted exactly in the way that they are supposed to chant.
Got it. Okay.
So, Giti, Shigri, Shirakkampi, Likita Pataha, all these are doshas.
Okay.
So, if the person is actually reading out the Purusha Sukta,
okay.
the dosha,
Okay.
going to manifest in bad way.
Okay. So it has to be
Okay,
chanted.
I don't want to go.
It has to be chanted only then. You can't read the Purusha Suktam.
That is what the Shastra is saying.
Okay.
You're not supposed to sing it. One of the biggest problems today, or rather, if I may be so audacious to say, one of the most abused mantras today is Gayatri Mantra.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
That's not fair on Gayatri Mantra.
Exactly. It's got a meter. Yeah.
Giti is the first dosha that has been mentioned.
What is that?
You're not supposed to sing the Giti. Giti is singing the mantras.
Okay.
Shirakrampi. Even you're not supposed to keep shaking your head while stating while chanting.
Okay.
So, I'm able to understand from a prana point of view why these won't work and why they will manifest the prana in a wrong way.
Okay.
And in fact, I don't agree to playing it in a player.
Okay.
Because there is no prana.
In that,
A player does not have prana.
Prana in it, okay. But the sound vibrations emanated from it? What we are perceiving it?
You are talking about the physical vibrations.
Oh, you're talking about, okay, you're referring to the prana. Okay. Prana, Anala, the Prana Anala are not there from the player. Okay.
And Mooladharaja Nadameru. Tyagaraja Swami, I can say is Mooladharaja Nadameru. The Nada starts from our Mooladhara. You may have both speakers, but does your both speakers have Mooladhara? So it's not giving you Nada, it's giving you Dwani.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay, I like the way you put it. Very nice.
Yeah, I agree. It might have some good effects, but it will also have a lot of effects, which we are taking into account.
Got it. Yeah, very nice.
So, I generally, personally speaking, I do not subscribe to this philosophy of chanting mantras and Vedic mantras.
Okay. Okay.
Unless you are in initiated marga, you have your sadhana, you have your padati,
and you have your guru and you have the right of
Diksha also. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Okay.
teacher.
If you are in a marga, then it's up to your marga, right?
Correct. Yeah. Absolutely.
If you're not in a marga, just randomly taking mantras from YouTube or internet.
Got it.
I would just like to add one point there for saying these are the rules, the conditions under which these have to be used, that we use.
Correct.
All others are Dikshita.
Oh yeah.
He has packaged it in a way that people can use it.
The Diksha
Singing,
Dikshitar, the Diksha
is
giver.
a different thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
He's given it through compositions. Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
Yes, through compositions and singing, as a student of Karnataka Sangeetam, you learn it and you present and you practice it.
Correct.
And absolutely no problem. However you sing this, no? Anybody can sing it, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Need a studio Diksha to sing Kalaartham.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But if I'm able to sing it well, I will get the phalam of Srividya Upasana.
Yeah. We remember Meera ma'am mentioning that it's as good as doing a homam itself, so yeah.
Yes.
Very nice, yeah. Awesome.
So, our great Vagyakaras have done this for us.
Yeah, I've done this service for us already.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
we don't need to directly get to a mantra. You can do that Devata Upasana through Dikshita Kritis. Harikeshanalu Mutaya Bhagavatar has come up with his own kritis on the
Navagrahas and
So, we can also have this sort of an astrological music therapy, tuning. Right? So, if somebody is having Sade Sati, then you hear to Divakara.
Yeah. Those kritis, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think they'll definitely have another video podcast. I think, anyways, Sowmyaji's MA music dissertation was on the Varagraha Kriti.
Yes.
So, yeah,
I
totally remember that. So, we'll definitely have another episode on that also, because these are all rich treasures we have, from our country and culture both. Yeah. Amazing, fantastic. I mean, this can just keep going on and on and on. There's so much to share, right? I think I would like to maybe wind up by asking you, so what is that maybe one message or something that you could give away to the the viewers as to what they can do on a daily life basis? On a daily life basis, what is it that they can do to include music therapy without much knowledge? I mean, not everybody is a learned listener. So, what can the layman do music therapeutically on a daily life basis?
Okay. First thing is make it a habit to listen to classical music. Okay. Indian classical music, maybe Hindustani, Carnatic, whatever. Indian classical music, because classical music has a purpose of elevating you.
Correct.
Other music is for entertainment. Whether you listen to it or not is immaterial. But please make it a daily routine to hear Indian classical music.
Correct.
Yeah? It definitely will energize you.
True.
It definitely helps in emotional regulation. And it definitely helps in getting your Shanta Rasa,
absolutely,
as we discussed. Yeah,
absolutely. Very nice. So, yeah, I think.
And another point maybe we should add is, today we are exposed to multi-genres of music, various ways of music production and everything. So, it's, whether you can see it or feel it, the air pollution affects you. Somehow the music field is also ridden with these kind of things.
Correct. Yeah.
There's a lot of electronic noise that has crept into the music listening today.
Yeah,
so the distortion pedals, the distorted effects that people are using, a lot of synthetic sounds.
Correct.
Now those might entertain you, but if you subject yourself to listening to those regularly, people are listening to that while driving. People are listening to that all the time in their, they wear earphones and they're listening to it all the time. When, this goes to a point of overdoing it.
Correct.
From, our knowledge systems and from a neuroscience perspective, it does no good. It does more harm than anything else.
Yeah,
so, entertainment purpose, it's okay. Like, you would not probably eat upenkai as main course, no?
Of course.
Something like that, right? So that measure is okay for getting entertained.
Right.
But subjecting yourself to that throughout is not healthy at all. So we encourage people to listen to more natural instruments, the sounds of natural instruments, like mridangam, tabla, veena, violin, flute, right? Natural instruments.
Absolutely, awesome. So I think we've maybe just touched the ocean of this subject, right? So we've not even dived yet. So, but you've shared so much, which I think people can actually keep listening to this video over and over again to pick up at least one new point every time they hear it. So thank you so much once again, Sowmya ji, Sanak. It's been an absolute pleasure. And today also being Yoga Day and Music Day. So I sincere blessings to all, or prayers to everybody's harmony in their life, both through music and yoga. Any final message you would like to give to all the viewers?
First of all, thank you, Rahul. Today has been brilliant. Yoga and music were actually not different. It was Yujyate Yoga.
Yes, that which unites. Yeah.
That which unites.
Yes.
And music is also that which unites.
Absolutely. I had one of my spiritual gurus mentioning music is the only magic left in the cosmos, So he told it. Music is the only magic left. So absolutely agreed with him. Right?
It's beyond language. It's beyond any other differences.
Absolutely. Yeah, fantastic.
When all other methods fail, music still remains.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you.
Even in therapy, that's true.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Even if everything else is failing in a patient, the ears are still always open.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic. So, immense gratitude to you. Thank you so much. My pranams to both of you for sharing a lot of your wisdom and your experience, right? And my sincere prayers for you to continue this human service and help many more lives transform, lead more Shanta Rasa filled lives, So, right, yeah. Thank you so much, Sowmya ji. Thank you so much, Sanak. It's been an absolute pleasure interacting with you, right? So, thank you so much.
Namaste.